good afternoon. Welcome to a special edition of 60 Minutes Nigeria. It is the very first for 2019, and I have the privilege of having with me a legal luminary in Edo State, a highly respected analyst, Barrister Tim Uyi Obamedo. Nice to have you on the show.
Nice meeting you, Erusa.
Okay.
And a pleasure to be here again.
Yes. It's special because we'll be taking a look at the 2019 election. We've been talking about it, but it's just 36 days to the general elections for this year. Expectations are high. Nigerians are anticipating, salivating. What will be the outcome of this election? A lot in the offing. On the 19th of this month, it will be the presidential debates ahead of the 2019 election. Will all the presidential candidates selected or designated for the event show up? That's another huge question. Already we've seen the vice presidential debate, where of course we saw two very foremost amongst them. The incumbent vice president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, and of course, Obi, a former governor, who is the running mate of the PDP presidential candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Okay, so we'll take the first question, and that is looking at the 2019 election. A lot in the offing. Barrister Tim Uyi Obamedo. We'll start the program by saying Happy New Year.
Well, thanks for wishing me happy.
Yeah. So, the 2019 election we'll be talking about the 2018 is right here.
Exactly.
36 days to go.
Yes.
What are your expectations?
Well, Mr. Erusa, I want to say here, and rightly so, that expectations are in there.
Okay.
And if they are scanty.
Okay.
I dare say that we are at the brink of a dangerous precipice. You know, like I know too well, that there are so much administrative ineptitudes on the part of those at the helm of affairs.
Okay.
And this does not portend well.
Okay.
Unless if we nip in the bud now and curtail the excesses of these square pegs in round holes.
Okay.
Now, you wonder why I say that. This is election year.
Yes.
So much at stake and so much has not been done. I'll start by looking at our electionary process.
Okay.
Need I remind us that the Electoral Amendment Bill number 6
Okay.
of 2017 has been passed by the Senate.
Okay.
But up until as we speak, the federal government has refused to give assent to that bill. That does not augur well
Okay.
for a nation that is at the eve of election. And what that portends is that what those well-meaning Nigerians envisage that should have been curtailed
Okay.
have been left in the lurch, quote unquote.
Okay.
Now, that Electoral Amendment Bill number 6, which was passed March 30th by the Senate, seems to strengthen our electionary process.
Okay.
And I'll have you know that there are salient provisions in that bill.
Okay.
We all expected that even at the beginning or the inception of this year,
Yes.
in the usual broadcasts,
Okay.
that recourse will be had to that. But what we saw was a far cry. Why are we talking about the Electoral Amendment B number 6 of 2017?
Okay.
Because there are, among other things, 3 salient provisions that tend to strengthen our electionary process.
Okay.
First,
Yes.
for the first time, it provides for full electronic accreditation of voters,
Okay.
and also provides for electronic data.
Okay. So
Of
that would have
voters.
taken care of
All those
incidence
lapses.
form,
Yes.
and all other issues.
Lapses
Yeah.
inherent
Okay.
during election. So it also provides for full electronic data, which INEC must publish 30 days
Okay.
before any general election.
Okay.
Another salient provision is that it takes care of arbitrary fees, fees by political parties for nomination forms.
Okay.
You remember our very incumbent bought his own form. I'm talking about the presidential incumbent.
Yes.
He bought his own form for 20 million, if you recall, in 2015.
Okay.
But now that Electoral Amendment B number 6 of 2017
Yes.
is saying no, the limit for presidential candidate is 10 million. And the limit for gubernatorial candidate is 5 million.
Okay.
That's a welcome development.
To allow aspirants.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it kind of take care of those nuances
Okay.
that will make politicians have that penchant for grab it all.
Okay.
We took loan, we took facilities
Yes.
to get here.
Okay.
That is another salient provision.
Okay.
Then another fantastic provision in that Electoral Amendment B number 6 of 2017 has to do with the provision
Okay.
that takes care of a candidate who dies after commencement of an election
Okay.
and before election result is declared.
Okay. Like Kogi, what happened in
Fantastic.
Kogi? Okay.
Audu Abubakar
Yes.
in 2015.
Okay. Such problems would
died.
have been eradicated.
You know what transpired.
Okay.
That situation has been taken care of. And what it provides is that if such happens, such unexpected event or unforeseen occurrence,
Okay.
as it were, happens, the political party of that candidate must conduct fresh window election within 14 days.
Okay.
And INEC thereafter must conduct fresh election for that candidate within 21 days.
Okay.
So
Beautiful ideas.
yes, these are
Yeah, but the president also gave reasons for not signing the Electoral Act.
we are looking at moves as strengthening our electionary process.
Okay.
Because for us as lawyers and proponents of the rule of law, we clamor for a free, credible,
Okay.
and fair election.
Okay.
So whatever reasons that may have been adduced must be within the consciousness of well-meaning Nigerians.
Okay.
But I can tell you, and rightly so, that majority of Nigerians are saying these are welcome developments
Okay.
in our electoral process.
Yes.
Now, that is for the electionary.
Okay.
Another very important situation that worries us is that we are in the election year and Nigerians are not secured. The insecurity level has gained an alarming proportion.
Okay.
In fact, it has taken a toll of our lives. Insecurity hangs over us like a sword of Damocles. You remember last week, precisely 7 days from today,
Yeah.
the governor of Katsina said that nobody is safe in Katsina. I'm sure you read in the papers today the closure of the Damaturu-Meduguri Road, which some media houses are reporting that they have opened. Why? Because of insurgency, Boko Haram insurgents. Today, we battle with bandits and banditry.
Zamfara
and others.
Katsina.
Boko Haram insurgency.
In the northeast.
In the northeast. And the likes. We expect that as at now, this should have been reduced to the barest minimum.
Yeah. But the presidency made it clear that strategic efforts are on to curbing the menace of these insurgents. You heard of what happened with the Daily Trust and all that. The military strategized and the Daily carried out the news. That means the military is already strategizing to actually curb these problems before the election.
Well, you see, effort is not counted.
Okay.
When there is no positive result. The protection of lives and property rests with the government.
Okay.
And that is a constitutional provision.
Yes.
So that is why we are clamoring that the federal government should rise up to the occasion. We don't want to hear whether this has been done or 27 billion has been used to buy some jets, some fighting jets.
Yes.
That's not what we want to hear.
Okay.
We want to hear that the country is a having of peace and security. As Nigerians, that is what we want to hear. But as it is, the situation, what is prevalent is a far cry from that somewhat Eldorado that we expect as Nigerians. Again, I want to say that why there is so much at stake, the political parties are not even helping the populace. The reason being that before now, it used to be in the year of election, we hear manifestos.
Okay.
Oh, I will tackle insecurity. That's my priority.
Yes.
Oh, everybody will say, we will follow this party.
Yes.
But today, the Nigerian politics is a far cry from what it used to be. Where are the manifestos? That is what we're asking. Which party is talking of helping to curb this insecurity that hangs over us like a sword of Damocles? Are you aware of any? I do not know.
Okay.
So we are saying that Nigerians are intelligent people.
Yes.
Nigeria operates a written constitution.
Yes.
And we say as lawyers that the constitution is the ground norm.
Exactly.
The organogram.
Yes.
From which all operations take place.
Okay.
That is why I'm also happy that the judiciary knows that this is a year they can also bring out their best. Because, of course, as an election year, tribunal will be set up or established to take care of grieving parties who feel that, oh, this election wasn't fair or credible, let's go to court. The judiciary is there, and it remains the last hope of the common man. Okay. Our judiciary has been the best, even from independence. I can say that and again and again. And that is because they have lived up to expectation. Forget all those stories of corruption that you see. Some of them are politically motivated. Our judges are one of the finest judges we have in the world. I can tell you that. They are hardworking judges. In spite of intimidation and all that. And sometimes phobia created as a result of wanting to pull them down so that they may not carry out their work. And such phobia is not good for honorable men there at the bench. Okay. So we are saying that there is so much expectation, but the expectations are in there.
Yeah, that's the way you said it. But we must say that just the way we started the program, 36 days to the general election, the candidates are known. Of course, the incumbent, President Muhammadu Buhari, is seeking re-election, and his close friend has moved to the PDP and, of course, won the presidential candidate of PDP, and that's talking about Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And next week, we'll be having the presidential debate, an opportunity for Nigerians to meet with these two foremost candidates. And of course, the others who are trying to create an upset or trying to change the rule of the game. So that's an aspect. Now, the Christian Organization of Nigeria has also set a date for national prayers for peaceful 2019 election. It is the desire of Nigerians and of course the international community that the 2019 general election will be conducted as a credible, as a fair, authentic election by INEC. And Professor Mahmood, the chairman of INEC, has also given the assurance. We've seen a lot of activities from INEC to convince Nigerians of their credibility to conduct the kind of transparent election expected by Nigerians. But don't forget the fact that something also cropped up recently when INEC appointed one of his commissioners to be in charge of collation, and that's talking about Amina Zakari, and that has thrown dust to the air. The PDP has asked that she should resign because of her ties to the incumbent president. Of course, only recently the governor of Rivers State also talked about the issue of the police and that INEC should be wary in terms of the use of the police. Of course, the police will definitely be in charge of our elections. But these are a lot of activities, a lot of issues cropping up. So we'll come back to you, Barrister Timoyi Obamedo. Let's start from the INEC. The PDP, the very, very formidable opposition of the APC, is not comfortable with INEC. Do you see any way out of this imbroglio?
That phobia will always exist.
Okay.
Because of the ruling political party.
Yes.
But I want to tell you this. The so-called person being clamored for her removal is an INEC staff. And whether there is any ties between her and the president is of no moment. Why I do say that is because, for me, I believe that what we should be talking about as political parties is manifestos. And I will tell you, I feel it's an insult for Nigerians to be having presidential debates after how many years of independence. What we should be talking about today is manifestos. What are you going to do? What is debate? They will tell us what they want to tell us and deviate from doing what they have said. So I feel that it's not necessary, and I feel that what we should hear is, this is what we will do when we come into power. Again, why I spoke earlier about the Electoral Amendment B, number 6 of 2017, is because it caters for all those unnecessary suspicions that may arise as a result of that. Because that B also talk about the transmission of data or results from the polling unit directly to collation centers.
Yes.
Immediately.
The issue of electronic in the electoral system.
And information.
Okay.
That the polling, what do you call it, the presiding officers must transmit data and result immediately from polling unit to the collation centers.
Yes.
And failing which is 5 years imprisonment without option of fine. So you see why we are clamoring for the president to give us
strengthening the
strengthening the electoral process.
An electoral process.
Yes. So that is one of the reasons why we are saying we expected that the president should have given assent quickly to that electoral amendment bill number 6 of 2017. That is one. Again, what disturbs me as a lawyer, as a free thinker, is the fact that the secretary of the commission is still subject to the chairman of the commission. Before now, it used to be that the appointment is done in collaboration with the presidency and even National Assembly. But the Electoral Act 2010 as amended gives powers to the commission, that is chairman of INEC, to appoint the secretary, what we call the administrative secretary of the commission. That I think, or I have thought that those well-meaning Nigerians in the National Assembly, in the upper chambers, should have looked into. How do we have an independent mind in that commission? When the secretary, the administrative secretary, is still tied to the apron string, as it were, of the chairman. So I thought that that should have been a novelty, even in this electoral amendment bill. But I was surprised that no one talked about it. So I am suggesting that it is proper for us to look into that the secretary of the commission, the appointment of the secretary of the commission should not be subject to the chairman of the commission. It could be.
What are your fears?
My fears is that we should have an independent mind. If he is subject to the chairman of the commission, whatever the chairman says is I do. You know how it is administratively. So what we are saying is that it should be that the secretary of the administration, remember, mind you, the chairman of the commission is usually appointed by the president. And if the president is from the ruling political party, you know what that portends. So what we are saying, if we have an administrative secretary to the commission that is not appointed by the chairman of the commission, appointed by the president, we'll have someone with an independent mind. And that augurs well for the commission. So I'm also saying that the well-meaning Nigerians who are in the upper chamber should look into that, for that to give a kind of reputation to the commission that helps us in our electionary process. And that is that. Again, you remember that the Supreme Court in 2015 criticized the use of card readers. This is the first time that card readers, the use of card readers is given legislative backing. Electoral Amendment Bill number 6 of 2017. Remember, in Akwa Ibom, Abia, Rivers, and Delta, the Supreme Court ruled that it was wrong to have used card readers. But now, with this Electoral Amendment Bill number 6, they have given legislative backing
to the use of
card readers.
As introduced by...
So all those, provisions, salient provisions will cater for those nuances and lacunae that are prevalent
in law.
So what we are saying is that we expect that the president should have a rethink and give assent to that Electoral Amendment Bill number 6 of 2017, passed by the National Assembly on 30th March.
Now, while you are advising the president on what to do, you talked about the fact that a debate, a national debate, is an insult. You talked about that. And I know our viewer out there will be curious to understand. Because democracy in Nigeria is a replica, or we actually are doing what is done in advanced countries like the US, where democracy is well entrenched. And national debate is a prerequisite, especially before the election. And that has been imbibed in this country. So, what are your reasons? Because we've just watched the vice presidential debate, and people are still talking about it.
In the US that you talked about, before they talk about debate, they must have established their manifesto, whether Democrat or the Republic. They will tell the American citizens that this is what we will do.
Yeah, but every party has its own manifesto.
Hold on. But
okay.
Which party is talking about manifesto now?
Okay.
In the present dispensation.
Yeah, maybe when they bring campaign here.
None. Campaigns are on.
Okay.
None is talking about insurgency. None is talking about insecurity. So that's why I say, since we got our independence, how many years now? We're still talking about presidential debate. What is debate? You're going to tell me that my party is best?
No, but it's a false.
Excuse me,
okay.
Or that Paul's party is best,
yes.
Peter's party is best. That is not what we need.
Okay. But don't you think it allows Nigerians to meet with their candidates?
Whether you meet with their, let me tell you.
Yes.
I don't believe in showmanship.
Okay.
As it were.
Okay.
Because hereditary tendencies will always manifest themselves. In other words, what is bred up in the bone will surely come out in the flesh.
Okay.
You may be coached. You are a candidate of a party. They'll bring in philosophers, bring in psychologists, bring in lawyers. They'll coach you on what to say. And you come out glaringly fine. Oh, that's a good candidate. And the other party does same. Is that what we need now? Certainly not. You will agree with me. Why I said that debate is not what we need now is because this democracy, even though some people still believe that it's nascent, is growing old. It's growing old. We should be talking about what we can do for the ordinary Nigerian. And that is what is uppermost and opposite now. Because the country, as I told you, is at the brink of a dangerous precipice.
Okay.
With insurgency, Boko Haramism, armed banditry, kidnap, armed robbery, and the likes. It's of course, these are indicators that insecurity has gained an alarming proportion.
Yeah.
So we want to hear a political party that will say, I will do this.
But during presidential debate, it can be heard. Nigerians will ask questions. The presidential candidates may have the opportunity to really talk about these issues you have raised. Don't you think so?
Debates are meant to outperform a political party or an aspiring candidate.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is this: all the candidates are well trained and coached as to what to say to kind of sway the minds of well-meaning Nigerians. So that is why I don't believe in debates.
Okay.
For me, I think that what is necessary is tell us what are your clear intentions as guaranteed in the Constitution. Tell us what you will do. I have not seen a party that will say, oh, for a very long time, the fundamental objectives and direct principles of state policy as guaranteed in Chapter 2 of the Constitution, I will enforce it and make it legally binding.
Okay.
We expect a party that will say that, because it talks about social and economic resources that will help in the development of the ordinary citizen in the country.
Okay.
You understand? So that is what we are saying, and that is our clamor. Okay. That is the clarion call. Tell us what we do. Sir, to be candid, we have gone past debate.
Okay.
This is not the era of debate. What is happening in the country is glaring to the ordinary citizen in the street. Can you go to Mediguru now? If you have an appointment in Mediguru Damaturu, can you go there? You'll be, at least, there is that phobia that will engulf you, that, oh, there is this Boko Haram insurgency there. Let's be frank.
Okay.
So that is why I'm saying, and of course it's my candid opinion.
Yeah, it's personal.
It's my candid opinion that we have gone past the era of debate.
Okay.
Tell us what you will do that we make the ordinary citizen's life better.
Okay.
Tell us what you will do that will curb insecurity that has taken a toll of our lives.
Okay.
Tell us what you will do that will help sustain our democracy.
Yeah.
Tell us what you will do that will help the electionary process.
Okay.
Those are the things we want to hear.
Okay.
You see, it's so unfortunate that we now see a situation where we are on a downward spiral.
Okay.
as the political scientists will say, downward spiral in the sense that we are not evolving as a nation.
Yeah.
And the evolutionary process takes a lot of changes and a lot of commitment and effort on the part of those at the helm of affairs.
Okay.
But it's sardonic that indeed we are on that downward spiral.
Okay. Now, before we continue on the program, we just touch that issue of debate again. Now, if during the presidential debate, agreed you've made your point, President Muhammadu Buhari, for any reason, if he's unable to attend that debate, will you be disappointed?
I won't, because I feel that every individual has its own penchants for things, or proclivity for things.
Okay.
And I also would have you know that statements made in the air are not usually sustained by actions. That is because of the fact that man is of fickle nature. So that is why we are clamoring as proponents of constitutionalism and rule of law for manifestos. Come out with your manifestos. Tell us what we will do. Let the average Nigerian and well-meaning Nigerian know, oh, this is the party that is saying they will curb insecurity. This is the party that will curb insurgency. This is the party that will help us to reach that so-called Eldorado, where we have peace and security in our nation.
Yeah.
That's what we are interested in. So I don't even watch the debates. It's a fact, because I know that man by nature is gregarious, but the social and political terrain does not make for personal happiness.
Yes.
I know that for years. That is because I study the Bible, and I know that man is of that fickle nature.
Okay. Thank you, Barrister Uyi Obamedu. Now, let's we'll come back to get the thoughts of our guest on the program. I hope you are enjoying the presentation today of 60 Minutes Nigeria. But we'll just take a break now. And after this break, we'll be looking at the other topic, where the issue of mental health tests for presidential candidates has been canvassed. You want to know who's canvassing that, or who has canvassed that? We're going to get the thoughts of our guests on that and many other issues. So, that will be after this break. Yes, it's nice to have you back on the program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. I hope you are enjoying the conversation on the show. We've taken a look at expectations for the 2019 election. Just 36 days to the general election is already here. Nigerians are already looking forward to the conduct of that election. And of course, INEC, the umpire, will be expected to do the needful so that Nigerians can applaud them. And of course, Professor Mahmood needs to write his name in the history books with the conduct of this election. We all had thought that the 2015 election was the most important, but it's now obvious that the 2019 election is another very, very crucial aspect of this country. Okay, now, the coalition of united political parties has said that President Muhammadu Buhari, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who is now the presidential candidate of the PDP, and all other candidates contesting the 2019 presidential election should be subjected to mental health tests. He said the test should be conducted by an independent team of experts in mental health issues. The coalition's demand was contained in a statement by its first national spokesman, Imo Ugochinyere, who said the test was necessary in order to ascertain the state of the mental health of the presidential candidates of the different political parties contesting the 2019 election, so that any person who does not pass the examination should not be allowed to participate in the election. But the spokesperson for the president, Muhammadu Buhari campaign organization, Festus Keyamo, SAN, asked the Coalition of United Political Parties, otherwise known as CUPP, to present the PDP presidential candidate for public mental testing first for corruption before they could ask other presidential candidates to submit themselves for mental health tests. The national chairman of the PDP, Prince Uche Secondus, on his own part, said his presidential candidate was ready to take part in the mental health test and ready to satisfy the yearnings of the majority of Nigerians. Also, the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, John Bo, and that of the People's Trust, Benga Olawepo Hashim, have expressed their readiness to subject themselves to mental health tests if necessary and if constitutional. Meanwhile, two civil society organizations, Center for Anti-Corruption and Open Leadership and the Campaign for Democracy, have backed the call for mental health tests for presidential candidates ahead of the 2019 general election, saying such mental examination would expose kleptomania and other, and other improper tendencies. Okay, so my guest is already amused. But what's your take on this?
Well, Ebusa, I want to tell you that I consider it foolhardy to have in positions of authority people who are schizophrenic or who suffers from schizophrenia, as the medical expert will say it.
Yes.
Further than that, I also consider it foolhardy to have in positions of authority people who are demented, or in other words, people who suffer from dementia, as the medical expert will also say
yes.
it. I feel this is a step in the right direction. It's a welcome development. Because even as lawyers who advocate for law, part of the principles we are taught is that you have to be fit and proper. For someone who will help advocate for the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that person should be mentally fit. So I am saying it is encouraging. In fact, it is all encouraging to have such mental tests for political office holders. Also, it will be a sword. And indeed, terrible.
Yes.
To have somebody who is demented in position of authority. What if he comes out and say, oh, this is my policy. All citizens of Nigeria should go out nude, walking in the streets. Go out nude, going to offices. We are saying this now because we know that the psychologists will tell you that there are 7 tests you have to pass for you to be acclaimed sane. Or this is somebody who is indeed a sane person. We are talking about sanity here.
Yes.
We don't want any of those demented or schizophrenic individuals in position of authority. Of course, you know what that means and what that portends if that happens. So that clamor is welcome and is a step in the right direction. Let me also tell you, in Lagos State, where I also practice my law, if for any reason you have found one thing for any offense as it relates to driving, they'll take you for mental test. In Lagos State here, in the West.
Especially if you drive against traffic.
Exactly. Because they feel that whoever is sane will not do that because it knows that it can lead on to head-on collision and other mishap. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So, in the same vein, and by say token, if for any reason you are driving without your documentation, I mean documents,
vehicle particulars,
that of course accredits you as a credible and competent driver, and you are caught, they will also submit you to such test. So I don't see anything funny or laughable if a certain section or group, they are saying that those political office holders should carry out mental tests to see if they are sane or mentally fit to lead us. So I want to say it's a step in the right direction and it's welcome.
Okay.
And further than that, it will help to ensure sanity in the system.
Okay.
Because the same person will do same things, and the same person will do an insane thing. So that is exactly why they are looking at that, because some of these laws do that. Some of these policies that come, even in your bedroom, you wonder, why is this man talking about this? Why? I don't want to begin to talk now because I told you I'm not a politician.
Yeah, you are political.
Yes, I'm neutral.
Yes.
Politically neutral.
Yes.
There are certain policies that we hear. We begin to wonder, where is this one coming from? You understand?
Yes.
Is it from the doldrum or what?
Okay.
And there are certain laws that
Yes.
they'll be talking about. You'll be wondering, where is this one coming from? Is that part of administration? Is that part of the skills or art of governance?
So do you think this mental health test issue can actually strengthen governance?
Very well.
Okay.
And it will go a long way to indicate those who are not mentally fit.
Okay.
So I think that it should also have legislative backing.
Okay. Should be part of our constitution.
Yes, it is one thing to say, oh, political office holders should carry out mental tests. If there is no legislative backing, who will enforce it?
Okay.
So I am clamoring for the enforceability of mental tests for political office holders. So this is a clarion call for our legislators, those well-meaning Nigerians in the upper and lower chambers, to see how they can pass and encourage bill for mental tests for all political holders. It will help us to know those, even within the family, we know those who do not behave well.
Yes.
In your family, if somebody is behaving funny, you know.
Yes.
If, for instance, that by chance or seconds that person now becomes a politician and he gets power, you can expect the worst.
Yes.
So I think that should be our clarion call.
So it should cut across board. That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
But what this part is saying, they are talking about the presidential candidate, but you are saying it should be part of our
all
electoral
spheres
system.
of political offices.
Yes.
All spheres of political offices. Because it will help to give indication
Okay.
of someone who is cerebral or cerebrally minded.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
And that, of course, will help us. Egosa, you are doing a nice job here.
Thank you.
Most of the topics you call on us to discuss, there are topics that can help to keep our nationhood
Thank
or
you.
strengthen our nation. Now, if an insane person is there, you expect the reverse. That is why we are on a downward spiral, as I earlier mentioned.
Yes.
So you can see why it is necessary.
Okay.
So for me, I am saying, and rightly so, that the need for political office holders to undergo tests cannot be overemphasized.
Okay.
In fact, to me, it is indispensable. And we are saying that it should be given legislative backing.
Yeah.
Fashola tested it in Lagos, and it's working well.
Okay.
The ESMA issue you now have in Edo State, I can tell you, if you go to Lagos State, you see that they are almost there.
Okay.
Because over the years, they have helped to give the right orientation,
Sanitize the system.
educate the people, sanitize the system. That's why you see people, they know that whatever mistake you make, it will take the lives of thousands and millions of people, especially on the bridges. So that's why they don't play with such. That is why they will ensure that if you have found one thing, they'll go and test you. Is this person mentally okay? So we are saying that it is something that should be encouraged.
Okay. Thank you very much, Barrister Uyi Obamedo, who has really emphasized and dissected this issue. We are taught that the coalition of United Political Parties were alone, but from what we've seen, some other Nigerians actually support their clamor that presidential candidates of different political parties contesting 2019 election should be subjected to mental health tests. They believe that this will help to strengthen governance. This will help to bring out the best in the candidates. But before we leave that issue, don't you think the different political parties have a way of doing it in-house to know the credibility and, of course, the sanity of their candidates? But now this people are saying it should be made open.
Yes. You see, I will answer that they will always find a way.
Okay.
That one is sure.
Yeah.
But another good or beauty of this clarion call is that it will also help us to know those who are senescent.
Okay.
Those who are already suffering from senescence. They are aged, but they'll tell you that, oh, they are in their 50s or they are in their 60s.
Okay.
If you carry out such mental tests, those in the medical world, they will tell you that they can exactly tell you whether this man is 50 or 60. In the Western or Occidental world, if you take an individual to a psychiatrist,
Okay.
the psychiatrist can tell you, and almost certainly so,
Yes.
the age of that person.
Okay. So that's another dimension to it.
Yes, they can. So if someone tells us, oh, he's 60 years, whereas his contemporaries are saying, what's wrong with this man? He's my classmate, I'm 75.
Yes.
Why is he saying 60?
Yes.
So such mental tests can help in unfolding such lies.
Okay.
So I am saying that if we are able to give it legislative backing, some of this age reduction, someone maybe wanting to become a permanent secretary with good benefits at retirement will reduce his age, or our age would be a thing of the past.
Okay.
So these are things, you see, in the Western world, they try to test all these formulae to ensure that there is good governance. But here in Nigeria, one such clamor is made, people say, hey, it's because he's APC, because he's PDP, or it's because he doesn't even like
The person.
the country.
Yeah.
No, they'll tell you he doesn't like the country.
Okay.
Yes, they'll tell you he doesn't like the country. But we are saying that if any intending or prospective political office holder undergo such test, it will help to reveal his mental state.
Yeah.
And
But that is fit to hold
mentally
such offices as
mentally fit and
Yeah.
proper, quote and unquote, to hold such office and uphold the revered constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria,
Yes.
which we say is the ground norm. You understand?
Yes.
Further than that, it will also help to reveal the age, the stream of consciousness as it
Okay.
relates to age of that individual.
Yes.
That is what is happening in the Western world.
Another contending issue.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think we should clamor for legislative backing to this clarion call by that group.
Yes.
They are not a segmented group.
Okay.
They are thinking individuals
Okay.
who have thought it wise to come out with such
An idea.
suggestion to help strengthen our electionary process. So once again, I want to say it's a step in the right direction and it's a welcome development.
Okay, that's our show. I hope you've enjoyed our discussion today on 60 Minutes Nigeria. But before we just call it a day, we'll take the parting words of our very special guest on the show today. 2019 election, we have extracted it, we have dissected it. We've also looked at the issue of the mental health test for presidential candidates. But your parting words?
The clamor and the clarion call is that the presidency should give accent to the Electoral Amendment Bill number 6, which was passed into law 30th March, and help strengthen the electionary process.
Okay.
Because that bill envisages those situations that have caused so much controversies in our nationhood.
Okay.
Like I earlier highlighted,
Yes.
it now, for the first time, helps for full biometric accreditation of voters
Okay.
and for the Independent National Electoral Commission to establish 30 days before general election electronic list of voters.
Okay.
And that is a welcome development. And secondly, it helps to take care of situations where a candidate in for an election dies before results an election is declared. What INEC should do and what the political party will do. And as have been mentioned, the political party has 14 days to conduct their primary election, and the Independent National Electoral Commission has 21 days to conduct fresh election to take care of such situation. And that, of course, help in settling those controversies that emanated from the Audu Abubakar
case in
gubernatorial cases that almost ripped the nation apart. Then, another salient provision is that once data has been established or result has been established at the polling unit, the officer there must transmit it straight on to the collation center immediately via electronic means. And that bill is saying that failure for which is 5 years without option of fine. That, of course, will help to strengthen the electionary process. And we as lawyers, we say that is a welcome development. And then again, we also talked about what will help curtail the gravitor syndrome or proclivity inherent in politicians. Now, the bill has abolished the fees by political parties. Presidential candidates now limited to 10 million. The gubernatorial candidates now limited to 5 million. So nobody will say, I carry facility from Zenith Bank or from UBA to conduct this election. Now I'm here, I must grab it all. That tendency has been eroded. So we are saying that the president should give assent to it. In all honesty, in all transparency, and in all fairness to all Nigerians, the president should give assent to the Electoral Amendment Bill number 6 that was passed into law 30th March 2017.
Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed today's program. We have had the privilege of having a legal luminary in Edo State, Barrister Tim Uyi Obamedu Wogie, who has actually dissected a lot of issues as regard the 2019 election. If you enjoyed today's program, keep a date with us. Next week, we'll be having other guests on the program, and we'll be looking at other issues. Once again, Barrister Tim Uyi Obamedu Wogie, thanks for being a part of today's program.
My pleasure.
Yes.
To
to be with us.
To be with you guys.
Thank you.
And to periscope whatever is periscopable.
Yes.
In our nation.
Thank you very much.
So that we can have good governance and have a nation that is free of insecurity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Erusa.
Thank you. So that's our show for this week. Bye-bye.